Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Revival League Champions League Round 3. My name is Retro, and I will be your caster for tonight. We've got a very interesting game here between CG. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Versus Eternity. Now, it might not seem like that important of a game considering that it's very early on in the season, and considering the fact that CG is currently 7th in the league, Eternity are 6th in the league. But this could be a potential turnover for both of these teams if they can get themselves a couple more positions in the standings of the league. That could really be the beginning of something really good for both of these teams. As we head into the first game on Villa, we've got CG banning out Flores first. It makes sense. Flores is a very, very powerful operator. He makes a lot of positions really tough to play. He makes Azami pretty much impossible to play. Any type of deployable shields, Maestro, any type of utility that you want to put down Flores makes it really tough. Kebi goes out next from Eternity, a very, very strong operator for clearing out any type of roam presence that you might have. Those logic bombs, they give you away. You can't really be subtle or stealthy when she's on the board. To mention, of course, hacking the cams, that can also be really annoying. She's got a Gaunt 6, she's got a DMR, those impact EMPs as well. She's an all-around really strong operator, so it's not surprising that she goes out. Wumai and Mira to follow suit. Again, Wumai, similar to Flores, just on defense, can really make utility a nightmare to try and get in or to try and get rid of. So, makes sense that he's out. And Mira, of course, we all know how great she can be. CG start themselves out on defense, or their first defensive round on Aviator Games. They have brought the Azami, which I mentioned. She's probably the main reason why they decided to ban the Flores. Most likely we'll see the Azami playing that 90 area, or she might be playing on top of main. It depends on how they decide to really play her. They've also brought the Frost, who could really be a playmaker, so keep your eyes peeled for anybody getting down on the opposite end. The Frost, even if somebody doesn't get downed in a Frost mat, anytime that you're encountering a Frost mat, especially like this on a window, it forces you to look down. It forces you to look down to try and shoot that Frost mat, even if the Frost mat's not there. If you're not aware, if you don't know whether it's there or not, you're gonna have to look down just to make sure that it isn't there to clear it. And that means that you're not ready for a fight. If you're jumping in, you're looking down, and then somebody swings you from a doorway, you're dead pretty much immediately. And I was wrong about the Azami being played on either main or 90. It looks like they're going to try and be holding on to study, and the attack is already coming in pretty swiftly. The Sledge and the Iana are working their way downstairs, which is exactly where they want them to be. 2 sets of nades on those 2 operators can do a lot of damage from below, and it looks like they're already starting to do that. I don't think they have enough information to really get any kills off of that, but it still eliminates some of those angles in positions that the defenders might be playing in, because now they know that they're exposed from below, and, well, no one's really silly enough to be standing on a hole made underneath you. The rest of the attackers are commencing their attack from the opposite end. They've cleared out some of this utility already on this side, like those frost mats, and we've got our first pick here from the Iana on top of main stairs to clear out the Azami now. Not only is that one man down, but that is also the Azami with not all of those Kibas placed down yet. The Jaeger is chancing another peak, but unfortunately it's Diana that wins that, and we find ourselves in a 3v5 with 90 seconds left on the clock. That's the Lion that gets another one, and suddenly it's not looking too good for the Smoke and the Warden. They've got a lot of utility, but it's a 1v5 for the Smoke. SMG-11 in hand. It's all down to Jenna versus 5 attackers. A couple of them are pretty tagged up. She does get one. She gets another. That's a 1v3, but she's on a sliver of HP, and it's Diana to pick up another one. Eternity take the first round. I think that was a great example of how to clear out the roamers and how to really make your attack worthwhile. I think that the mistake that CG made, apart from losing 2 people very early on, the Jaeger trying to get a refrag for the Azami, try to bring the numbers back to even, but just unfortunately losing that one. I think that their problem was also focusing too much of their attention on the front side, on that main side and the study side, and not enough on the back side towards the bedroom, because the Lion and the Sophia were in pretty much immediately. They were very quickly in. That utility that they had, which was very minimal, it was only a couple cross traps, was gone quickly as well, so they didn't really gain any advantage with that, and they could have. So I think that they're going to try and maybe hold on to that a little bit better, and I think that their current lineup shows that they are bringing the Lucy, they are bringing the Legion, who, you know, give that sound cue if somebody's coming to you, and they're also good at slowing down an attack, and of course the Melusi Banshees do sometimes require you to waste a little bit of that utility. So it's unsurprising that they are switching it up that way. They also do have somebody playing below. It will be the lead playing downstairs, which could be crucial considering that we saw the Sledge and the Yana make their way downstairs pretty much immediately. The Melusi will be in a very early engagement, but luckily gets away with their life. Some of that utility already being wasted. I don't know whether that was, I think that was a grenade from the Iana through that window to try and maybe take up the Melusi. Doesn't succeed, so a little bit of the utility has now been wasted. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about. They are now having to slow down. The Sledge and the Iana cannot make their way inside of the map as quickly as they did last time, because they now have to worry about this Melusi. Where is she? What are they doing? And what is that really going to mean for their attack? That line scan does come out to help them a little bit, forcing the defenders to stop in their tracks. But is it really going to be enough? And a minute has already gone. There goes the first pick onto the Legion. And there goes another one. They do get a trade quickly, but is that really going to be enough? And see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Those goo mines giving away the position of the Iana. Gets swung on by the Melusi, but unfortunately, it's not enough to kill them. Minute 20 on the clock, and these attackers have had to slow down. They do have man advantage. But not a whole lot of map control yet established. And there goes a refrag finally to bring the numbers back to even. That was the Iana gone, who had already been on quite low HP, and a kill with that Aruni DMR to take out the Lion. That's in another little bit of utility gone from the side of Eternity. Ace making their way inside of Study, but see that Azami now being alive in this late round is able to block off any sort of angles that are still left over from the beginning of the round. Sledge and Ace all to play for here to try and win in a 2v3. This is a good position for them to be in. It's not horrible. They still have some utility left with that Ace. No nades, unfortunately, so that 90 position is going to be really tough to clear. Doesn't look like they're going to try and go for it anyway. The Sledge will break this Azami barricade as Emitter makes his way all the way inside of sight, does take out one. That's a 2v2, and they are in a position to get the plant down. They are going for it, but unfortunately, Nordis looking the wrong way, as is Emitter and CG take their first round. That was a much better round from CG. They established that roam. They established their presence both downstairs and upstairs. They slowed down the push from the attackers both downstairs and upstairs, and it was a really, really great round. They got their trades, or their refrags rather, and they made it work this time. They're going to go for a trophy statuary defense this time. Similar lineup, however, they are bringing the castle. I'm curious to see how they play the castle. I would assume they're probably going to play the castle on the triple wall instead of bedroom. Those windows can be a crucial position, especially if you make yourself a rotate, which it does look like exactly that's what they're doing. They will be blocking off these windows, as well as the closet door, to allow more of a rotation from statuary into bathroom and to establish more control on that particular part of the site. They are also going to be extending all the way down to Aviator and Games. They are also going to be extending down below as well. It will be the Alibi playing downstairs, which is also a crucial position, as we saw in the first round with that Iana and Sledge playing from below with those grenades. And they are surely going to be doing the same thing again. Still a little bit of site setup left to do for CG, but they have more than enough time as the attackers start to make their way to the building. They are already droning out the map, trying to see if they could find any early picks, and also trying to scout out any utility. Lion takes an early little bit of damage. I don't know if that might have been from a spawn peek, or maybe from an engagement with somebody. There we go, an early engagement between the Iana and I would assume the Azami on this side of the map. They do take out finally that Banshee, but there we go, a first pick and a second pick for CG. This is very quickly turning around to be a CG round. That's their Sledge and Iana gone. All of their vertical pressure that they could have established with those grenades now completely gone. Also, 2 really solid guns, as well as 2 drones also gone. Soft breach to get rid of those castles gone as well. They are starting to commence the attack from this other side of the map. They are breaching this wall. However, it is immediately blocked off by the Kiba barrier. And Midterm has made his way inside of the closet. More of that breach being blocked out by the Kiba barriers, and they're having to waste more of this utility on the castle barricades, which usually could have been done by the Sledge instead. Notice trying to stay alive here, getting peeked by 2 attackers, two defenders at the same time. Can't really cross. That lion scan does come out to help a little bit, but still unable to really make a push for it. Emitrim goes down to Jenna. Notice trying to make their way up the Astra stairs, and now all alone in a 1v4 as the line goes down as well. Now without a trade first. They get another one. That's a 1v3, suddenly looking a lot more promising, but that smoke grenade that they could have used to block off sight lines does get swallowed up by the ADS, and it's the Jaeger to win the final gunfight of this round. Another round on the board for CG. It looks like the first round that they lost so awfully, I might say. They weren't really prepared for it. It might have been a bit of a scout to see how Eternity played, to see how they're going to be using their utility. And once they figured that out, they were like, okay, we can just counter that. And I don't know that Eternity know a way to counter that, and they are just a little bit lost. They're bringing the same amount of utility, the same operators, and it hasn't really been working for them. They are going to be going for a kitchen dining defense now, which allows Eternity to bring a bit of a different lineup. The verticality is still necessary. However, this time it is a top-down verticality rather than a bottom-up, which is why they're bringing the Buck instead of the Iana, considering that the Buck can do a lot more vertical damage than Iana can, and they don't really need that many grenades. Still sticking with the hard reach, and also bringing now the IQ instead of the Zofia to undoubtedly get rid of these Mozzie pests, those Valkyrie cameras, and that Paris Mozzie drone will be crucial come late round. The IQ, of course, can spot it, but having any of that utility left over in the mid to late round would be crucial for CG should they have any of those Valkyrie cams left over or those Mozzie drones. The attack is already starting to come from the eastern side. They are going to be taking this top floor control rather quickly on, droning out this utility, those Valkyrie cameras very early on, getting rid of those bandit batteries as well as those mute jammers to make sure that those walls are breachable, and an early C4 from the Valkyrie, that pre-placed cam and a pre-placed C4 does take out their Buck, and that is a huge amount of utility now wasted. Of course, Sledge can do a similar verticality pressure that the Buck can do. However, the Buck has the advantage of being able to evade those C4s a little bit better, having that distance. They do get a refrag. That Valkyrie now gone. It's even ground for the defense and the attack. They are doing a little bit more of this vertical pressure. However, I'd be worried for potential flank, especially from that south side of the map through main stairs or maybe red stairs. They don't have any flank watch at all. Those two claymores on the ace being the only flank control that they could set up, which they haven't yet. They got another kill onto the Mozzie, that is onto bots, that is the Mozzie gone. Suddenly they do have some man advantage, but Goyo could be a bit of a playmaker, or it could be the ace if the Goyo is not careful. They do walk away from each other though, and we do see the Mute chancing a flank up those Astra stairs potentially, which could be a problem. They still haven't placed down those claymores. There's nothing to really give them an idea of a flank, and I don't know if they have any cams set up in place, and we also can't see whether the Buck is watching them, but they do make their way inside of sight, and I don't know if they are aware of this. The Bandit doing a lot of damage to 0. Goyo is still trying to hold on, and the plant is going down. And it's now in sight. Complete control of sight established. The Goyo can't really move. He will be killed by the sludge on that window as soon as he tries it. That is exactly what happens. Next to fall is the Bandit. It's all done to Jenna the Mute. Going upstairs, that flank may be coming a little bit too little, too late, especially with all of the attackers now making their way downstairs. A little bit of information has been gained. Does take out the IQ, but this is going to be a little bit too difficult, I think, especially with that time dwindling down. Gonna need to make a push for it soon, and these attackers have hit themselves very well, making sure that they do not lose this round. And there we go, the round is lost just on time alone. They can go for a pick, they get one, but it's not going to be enough. And another round goes to Eternity. This is going to be quite an interesting back and forth here between these two teams. Now, I really thought that CG had it up for them, but I think those vertical angles were a little too much to handle for them, even though they did get that early pick onto the Buck, and that is exactly why you bring both the Buck and the Sludge when you're trying to do vertical, because let's assume that Eternity had only brought the Buck dies to the C4 immediately. Suddenly, all of that pressure that they were able to put up is gone. So that was a really, really well played and really well picked from Eternity. CG are going to be going back to study and to Aviator and games. They lost this once, won it once. I think they now have a recipe for how to win it. However, they are bringing back the same lineup that they brought in the first round, the one that they lost. That Frost, again, I spoke already about how strong Frost can be. But that Frost wasn't really established. The utility was cleared up immediately. They weren't really there to capitalize on what really makes Frost traps so dangerous for attackers. And it looks like they are going to be switching it up, even though it's the same lineup. They have some presence downstairs. They have some presence over on the northern side of the map. Or do they have any presence downstairs? So far, no. I hope somebody will be making their way downstairs, as that is where pretty much they won the second round here. It was when the Iana and the Sledge could not force their way through downstairs until they cleared out the Melusi. And this time, it looks like the only bit of pressure that they're going to be putting onto this downstairs floor will be the Azami on the main stairs. Taking quite a lot of damage from that grenade. Sees just a little sliver of the Sledge, but can't capitalize on it. And those frag grenades are suddenly being sent all the way to the defense. A lot of those positions now eliminated. So far, no pick from either side. But that pressure has now been established. And there goes the first pick. Again, the Azami, the first death for CG. Jenna could be the next if they're not careful, but they do get the kill onto Nordis. That's the Sledge gone. Those grenades have done their damage already. And there goes another kill. Now the Jaeger off the board on the opposite end of the map. And this is going to be another tough run, another engagement here for Mott's. Has to pull all the way downstairs, and undoubtedly that line scan is spotting them out as well. They do get a refrag, get the ace outside the study door. They get another one, and now diffuser cold on the ground, and in a minute 20 left, they could very well pull this off. Greasy and Noit both spread apart from each other. Noit now diffuser in hand and aware of Jenna's whereabouts. Greasy is well aware of as he does take them out. Has at least a little bit of this utility that they have left to clear out the Syria gate, but they do have a little bit more of control over site. Kind of red stairs is Noit, and they could go for a plant down here. However, Mods could be the playmaker all the way from study through those angles. This could be big. 45 seconds left on the clock. The plant is going down. No smokes left for Jenna. This is going to have to be a gunfight, and it is one. It's Mods to win the round. They get 2 in a row, and another round for CG as Mods takes the diffuser down. A great round in the end for CG. A great, very well taken back. However, that really could have ended up differently. I think it was Jenna getting the early picks, or not the early picks, but getting the picks on main stairs is really what defined this round. But I think they still need to establish their roam presence a little bit stronger and a little bit better. They gave up that bedroom side a little bit too early on, and that really could have hurt them. Luckily, Mods managed to get away with their life down those red stairs and make their way back up the main.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
But that really looked scary for a moment, especially with no man advantage to speak of at that time. They are going to be going back to statuary and trophy. They won this. They won this round. They established control quite well. Let's see if they can do the same thing again. Bring in pretty much the same lineup. And I think that the crucial part of this round will be the same as last time, whether they can hold on to the opposite end of the map and try to hold on to that roam. They are roaming pretty much in the same vein as they did last time, same lineup, so it's all down to winning their ones. This time, Eternity bringing 3 sets of nades rather than 2, bringing the Nook as well, and the Nook could really be trouble as we see them already making their way through basement. Or, who was I looking at? No, I don't know who I was looking at that was making their way through basement. It might have been a defender, not gonna lie, but the Nook still could be trouble, of course, unable to spot them on the default cameras. And those 2 nades, silent pistol, very fast moving and very silent moving, could be trouble. Noti makes their way inside of study already. The Malusi could be having their first early engagement here, especially as they are getting droned out. I don't know if they're aware of the Iana inside of bar or inside of aviator. It doesn't look like they are. Those drones distract them in a little bit, and it's the castle to actually get the refrag as the Malusi is only downed but not out yet. Those grenades doing a little bit more of the damage, but not enough to kill them. Greasy here in a gunfight against Jenna the castle. This could really be a turning point here. Greasy, of course, is also going to get challenged by the Jaeger. There we go, exactly as I called it. Now a 2v4 for Eternity. But look at the HP. All of the defenders are on very low HP except for the Azami, and the Azami could lose their life here, just narrowly avoids losing it as all the rest of the defenders make their way over back to site, knowing that the remaining 2 attackers are in fact on this bedroom balcony. There's a lot of work for them still to do. I don't know if they can do it. They are going to be droning, trying to get a little bit more information, trying to gauge a position on these defenders. Emitter might be chancing a jump in to one of these windows. Of course, the floor is hard so that they can be safe, and I don't even know where from, but that is a glorious, pretty much deleted, leaving Emitter in another 1vx so far in this matchup. The Fuser hand, one does chance a run out. I think another one does get that pick. But I don't know that it's going to be enough, especially with only 15 seconds left on the clock. Not enough time to get the diffuser down. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about. You have to look down for a frost trap, and you also have to look to your side for a defender in the bathtub. CG win not just this round, but also this half, which puts them in quite a good position to be going to attack. They'll, of course, being slightly more defender-sided than it is attacker-sided, is really, really good. That means that a 4-2 split on your defensive half is a really, really good start. I think Eternity probably would have wanted that even split, that 3-3 split, but not all is lost in a 4-2 split.
Attackers need to locate,
especially with how strong they were playing in a couple of those rounds. I think that this could very well be a turnaround, especially as they are starting out with kitchen dining first. They are going to be holding upstairs, of course. You have to, because of that vertical pressure that they could put on you. We saw CG not play upstairs when they defended this site, and it came around to hurt them. They did get an early pick with a C4 and a Valkyrie, but they didn't really net much more than that, and that vertical pressure was established
10 seconds to go.
and pretty much gifted to Eternity. Eternity taking
5 seconds remaining.
advice or learning from CG's mistakes and playing upstairs, playing also on the opposite side of the top floor as well. Only one player on site, though. Of course, that vertical pressure is now in the control of CG, but is now in the control of Eternity. But should CG drone out and figure out that there's only one player in sight, they could go for a cheeky rush and a bit of a plant, but I don't think that they are going to be going for that, as they are already establishing their attack on the opposite side of the map, aware now of the roaming presence of this Aruni, who was on main stairs and has now made their way inside of library. A lot of those drones coming out, a lot of them being wasted. So much utility gone, and an early pick onto Nordis. That's the Azami gone. I'm not even sure where they died. But that is a really strong start now for CG, especially with so much of the utility still left in control. Capcan having to waste their C4 to try and maybe distract the buck on that 90 window, and just narrowly misses one, but does get that kill. Elsewhere, the Aruni gets another, and that man advantage that CG once had is now swiftly gone. Glorious is going to be in another engagement here. Does get double peaked. Still is alive somehow. And there goes another one. A Glorious, absolutely crucial here. Does get traded out immediately, but not before taking out their only hard reach. They do still have a couple of those can openers on the buck, but I don't know that they're going to be able to be as useful as the ace would have been, especially with the distance advantage. Matsutijin now in a 2v2. I don't even know when another one of them died, but it's a 2v2 now. It's looking a lot more winnable for CG, especially with doing a little bit more damage to the Capcan. Never mind, as it's all down to Mats. No, he's taken out another one. No, it has already made their way upstairs, and that smoke will make sure that Mats runs out of time before they can make their way inside of the site. And especially with no diffuser in hand either, this is looking like mission impossible here for Mats, getting challenged from these vertical angles as well. They do get a kill onto Noit. but it will be Eternity to finish that round, as I do believe that Capcan trap also exploded on the door, leaving Mott's on very low HP, whether the smoke got that shot with SMG-11 or not. And Eternity swiftly picking up the pace and making sure that advantage that CG had a little bit ago with being up 4-2 is dwindling away. They are going to be going for an Aviator game site, and I do want to keep an eye out on Glorious and the Echo. Glorious was absolutely crucial to the previous round, getting those 3 kills inside of Library. But also that Echo can be really, really strong, especially on a site that is often won for attackers by getting that plant down. You know, once you've established that study control, that top red control, you could be going for a default plant on that vault door, and unless they've got any type of utility like C4 or a smoke, and sometimes even those miss, there's not much that you can do to stop the plant. You have to go for the retake. So if they can stop the plant with an Echo drone, that could be crucial, especially if they force it to go to very low time on the clock.
Attackers dropped the
Eternity taking a page, I apologize. CG taking a page from Eternity's book in their final attacking round and bringing 3 sets of frag grenades instead of just 2. And of course, that Nook we already spoke about could be huge, and especially with that Echo could be getting a little bit of information on these attackers, but the Nook, of course, can evade the cameras and cause some serious trouble. The attack is starting to come from the opposite end of the map of where the site is. They've already established control inside of Trophy and Statuary. However, it's Greasy, the mute, on top of Red Stairs with a C4 ready to take out any of these. And that Nook that I was speaking about, who could have really been a playmaker, does go down to the Mozzie. I don't think that they expected anybody to be there as they made their way up Red Stairs from the basement. And it really hurt them. And there goes that C4 from Greasy to take out 2. Suddenly Jenna and Mott's make that Mott's in a 1v5 now as Nordis takes out Jenna. They know exactly where they are as well. They do get 1 kill, but that Echo is going to be a problem as now the stuns are coming out. The fuse are cold on the ground. Finally takes out that Echo drone, but it was a little too late because that C4 from the Mozzie is the one to clean up the round. And there goes another round for Eternity. Suddenly we find ourselves on equal footing for both of these teams. 4-4, as we see Eternity for the first time so far in this half take Trophy and Statuary as their defensive site.
Attackers need to locate and defend.
Bringing quite a different lineup than the one that we saw for CG. They are not bringing the castle. They are, however, bringing a warden, and of course, Mute. The Mute was pretty much a huge playmaker in the previous round, where it was Greasy to get a 2K with a C4 to to pretty much win the round at that point. We see Eternity setting up in a similar fashion to what we saw from CG, but still different and unique to their own setup. Of course, without bringing that castle, it's going to be quite a bit different than what we saw, but they are going to be defending on the opposite end of the map as well. That will be Nordis and Noit, I believe, both over on this end of the map to try, at the very least, slow down the attack. If not, just stop it in its tracks. But CG are going to be trying for another Nook attack. Again, 3 sets of nades. Ash as well with those breach charges, or those... I forgot what that's called. But those Ash charges. And of course, bringing the IQ, expecting an echo, and the grenade from below just narrowly avoids killing Noit. Noit whiffing a little bit and finally blocking off that angle to save himself a little bit of time, but I'm not expecting the rappel angle does go down, and now Greasy as well getting droned out on top of red stairs, has to relocate, otherwise they will lose their life. Nordis still trying to hold on to this 90 position, but now all by themselves on this side of the map. This could be bad, especially as we see Enoch chancing push up those red stairs. Nordis does have Greasy for support from that statuary door, but Nordis could still die from a red stair push just due to the way the angles work in Siege. Quite a lot of time has already been wasted, however, so this may not be as sure as it seems, especially with Nordis now dropping down into library, and I don't think that the attackers are even aware of the fact that they have completely vacated the 90 position. That C4 a little bit too soon to pick up anything, and another engagement between Greasy and Azibu on top of red. It's mods on this wolf window that could really do something against Greasy. Nordis is going to have to rotate up Astra stairs and just nearly misses the Nook, who also probably wants to do the same thing. It's a glorious with another kill, does get traded out immediately, but that's the Nook downed and dead at the bottom of Astra stairs. 3v3 with 20 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to make a push for the site, and there goes Emiterm with the kill with SMG-12, 2v2 as he gets immediately traded out, or gets immediately refragged. Azibu now on this wolf door does get taken out, and there goes another kill from the side of Eternity to put themselves in the lead again after quite a long wait. I think that was 6 or 7 rounds since they've had the lead. A really, really good round from Eternity, a really good hold. Nordis wasting all of the time possible by playing that 90 position, even after their teammate was killed inside of study. Wasted so much time, dropped off, wasted even more time as they droned out and figured out that they have vacated that spot. Came up Astra stairs, safe and sound, got a pick on Astra stairs, got rid of that Nook, and really played the game. Now going back to kitchen and dining, they won this site pretty confidently. The last time that they went here, they had that top floor control set up pretty perfectly, got their picks, dropped off when they needed to, and it really worked out for them. I think it probably will work out for them again, considering they are bringing a pretty similar lineup, if not the exact same lineup. And those Kapkan traps, of course, we haven't seen anybody die to them yet, but they still do require, they require you to drone it out, they require you to shoot it out, and of course, anytime that you're shooting any type of utility, what are you not doing? You do not have your gun and your crosshair on a potential position from your enemy. So if you're shooting out that Kapkan trap on the door, that means that you're not really looking to where you might get swung on. You're not focused, and that is how you often die, even if the Kapkan trap itself doesn't do damage. And of course, the Kapkan trap could do damage and could even kill you, especially if it's late round. You don't have any drones. You probably don't even have any teammates. You're just rushing, trying to make anything happen. And the Kapkan trap whiffs you away into the Shadow Realm. The attack is already starting to come about from below. I think that's going to be everybody now on this bottom floor. Jen, of course, on the rappel, but they are on the window. It'll be Nook probably just holding a position inside a basement to cut off any sort of rotation that the defenders might try and do. But it's a Glorious again with this huge position inside of library to take out one. They do drop down into basement, but this could be the play from the Nook. Nook, unfortunately, though, on the complete opposite end of the basement. They will be chasing them down now. There goes Nordis with another kill onto Jenna as well. A lot of trades. So much stuff happening, and a Glorious does get taken down by that Nook. But look at Pep and TJ both on very, very low HP. Greasy and Emiterm haven't taken a lick of damage so far, and pretty much a breath could take out both of these players. And especially if those Capcan traps is still in play, this is where we could see them seriously win a round. 3 smokes still in the hands of Emiterm, however, which could be really huge, especially as they now have to waste a grenade for a Syria gate. Emiterm playing this Tetris position with the smoke. 45 seconds left on the clock and dwindling down quickly. Mots will get spotted out by the camera on grandfather clock, and that smoke will be the first bit of utility thrown out by Emiterm to slow down this push. This could be a really huge angle here if they can get a pick. Whiffs a little bit, does get a shot onto Mots, and does eventually down Pep. That's TJ now in a 1v2 on a sliver of HP, and there goes the Capcan trap to win the round for Eternity. Eternity find themselves on match point as we see round 11. CG really misplayed that. They lost a lot of their gunfights, and allowing Glorious to stay in that position, that was like 4 rounds now in a row where they just play that library position or that living room position behind that pillar, and they just keep throwing bodies at them. They got a lot of those trades very quickly, but it wasn't really worth all that much because they were all on very, very low HP, and there was not much that they could do. I mean, it was enough for a Gumine to kill them. It was enough for just one whiff of a bullet. I mean, it was really misplayed from CG to allow a Glorious to have that huge round. And of course, Emiterm playing the waiting game beautifully with that smoke. Holding on to those smoke grenades until the very last possible second.
10 seconds left.
And here we go, another defense on Aviator Games. As Nordis catches out a drone that was set up to spot them out surely, and now it's not going to be so big. The last time that they played this, or the last couple times that they played this site, they won it pretty confidently. We saw a Greasy Master with that mute on top of the red stairs, the same exact position that they're playing right now, the huge playmaker, and this could be our first engagement here between the Nook and the Jaeger inside a basement, but it'll be TJ, I think, going up a different set of stairs rather than going all the way down toward the Jaeger on red stairs. The rest of the attackers still setting up on this statuary trophy side. And now, I mentioned early on in the game that a mistake that CG were making whenever they played this site. And there goes that first engagement from TJ and Noit. Noit does take out the Nook, and that's, again, 2 set of nades gone. They could really be huge. And there goes a kill onto Greasy, which is absolutely huge, but they do still have Nordis and Noit at the bottom of red stairs to make a play, especially now as they get a refrag, leaving the attackers in a 3v5 with the diffuser cold and on the ground. Mott's making their way through 90, so far unnoticed. Could be making a play, but they do make themselves known, make their presence known now with that air jab A couple quick refrags come out from the side of CG, and now it's all down to Emmy Term, still with 3 smokes in pocket to hold onto site. Emmy Term down below. First of those smokes being now put down on this skull door. Diffuser in hand now, but it's Emmy with a swing from the game's doorway to get another pick, and it's now a 2v2, make that a 1v2 as Nordis is all by themselves, and it's CG finally win a round. I think all of that came down to just CG being a lot more confident with the way that they are taking their gunfights, and a little bit more paced with the way that they were doing it, not so much rushing with trying to take control of the map. Droning got a little bit more, you know, I said letting a Glorious play downstairs in the past few rounds. Not really droning, just throwing bodies at them. They really learned that mistake and fixed it and played a little bit more cautiously. But I was saying that something that we saw from CG whenever they played the Aviator game site is that they would just let Eternity take control of the statuary trophy side. They would just completely let them have it, and then they would be on the back foot, having to basically retake a part of the map that they should have had control over to begin with. Whereas what Eternity did is they put Greasy with the mute and a C4 in hand on top of those red stairs with a shield, and they were able to hold that position really, really well. Of course, losing their life in the previous round is pretty much what won CG the round, because they were able to make their way over to the other side of the map a lot quicker than they were able to before. So getting the pick onto Greasy on the red stairs was crucial. No doubt it will be again. The attack will be coming from the south side over again, but they will have to deal with Noit this time. Of course, the last time that they played this site, it was Nordis that pretty much won the round by wasting so much of their time on 90 position, and it will be Mott very quickly putting pressure onto the bedroom side. It is Emitem holding down the fort instead of bathroom to try and prevent any control from being gained. As Dibu now pretty much hunting down both Nordis and Noit, who are in pretty crucial positions here on top of red stairs. It could be a first engagement here between Nordis and Pep, especially if a grenade comes flying at Nordis, and it looks like that is exactly what will be happening. That was a vertical nade, looks the wrong way, and there goes Pep down. That's another grenade wasted. TJ now making their way up the red stairs, but Nordis has already retreated, and they still have the presence of Noit right by them inside of Aviator to slow this push even more. 90 seconds already gone off this round, and the attackers have barely established control on pretty much anywhere. Mott's rotating around to Wolf Balcony now to try and maybe establish control there. And there goes. They do drone out Noit, but is it going to be enough? Especially as more of those Kiva barriers come out on this door to prevent them from entering. There goes another kill. Noit taking out the sledge. Does get traded out immediately by Azibu in a steady door. But a minute now left to go. And they still have so much to worry about. Nordis, I do believe, is still on the 90 position. Or they may have... No, yeah, they're still there. And there goes a grenade to take out Nordis. Finally, some moves being made here by CG to try and actually win this round. This will all come down to these final 30 seconds. Gloria is still in a crucial position on this deer. They got a couple kills on this last time around. And an engagement here from Emmy and from the Ash of Mott. It's Emmy to get the kill with the shotgun. Very low HP, however. And there goes a grenade to take out Greasy. It's all down to Azibu and TJ now. They do take out Emmy. That's a huge pick. And there goes the Glorious with another kill. Now they just have to hide and not let TJ plant. Drops down below, and it's actually TJ to win that round. for CG. I think it was a bit of a misplay there from a Glorious to drop down. I think a better play would have been to run into Wolf, maybe. But a great round there from CG. A lot of utility being put to great use. Those frag grenades at the end there to take out Nordis were really, really crucial. They still, I think, need to work on their push a little bit, make sure that they're not losing bodies very early on. I think so far every opening pick, every opening death every opening kill has gone in the favor of Eternity. So CG definitely want to work on that, make sure that they are not losing those fights, and especially now that they're back on defense and overtime. Defensive side had them up by 4, had them up by 2. Of course, being 4-2 up was a huge advantage for them. But they showed that they can also take control on attack as well as on defense.
10 seconds to insertion.
And again, trying to go for this Frost. Now, I wonder whether they are actually going to, for once, be able to capitalize off of the utility that is being put down on this side of the map. So far, they've not really capitalized off of that utility. They've capitalized more of their positioning on this side of the map. But they are going to have to start capitalizing off the utility. Otherwise, what is the point of bringing it? The attack will be another split push from Eternity as they bring, again, 2 sets of grenades, this time completely uncontested, down below, and putting already some of that vertical pressure onto the defenders. Those grenades coming out so far, no picks, really. And main stairs control has been now established by Eternity. But Noit, completely unaware of Azibu's side of living room, does get taken out. And there goes CG with an opening kill in their favorite Pep. In a really crucial position here on this fireplace could be huge, especially if they go undroned, which I do believe they have so far. And there we go, Pep. A huge kill to take out Nordis. That's the sledge gone as well, so all of that utility will remain intact. A little bit of bad drone work coming up from Eternity. Mots does give himself away on top of red stairs, on those red stairs. But I don't know if it's really going to be enough to get taken out. It will be. That is a Glorious with the Lion to take them out. TJ, huge position here inside of Skull. Azibu as well, ready to come up red stairs should they need to. This could be a huge counter swing from Greasy, but it isn't. It's actually TJ to win the first gunfight, can't get the second. 2v3, minute left on the clock. They have the diffuser, they have the necessary utility with that ace. If the ace rotates around to the Lion, they could make a play, but unfortunately, a Glorious is now down to Azibu, and it's all up to Emiturn to try and win this round out if they want to establish control so far in this half of overtime. But it will be CG to win another round, and it is now overtime match point for CG. And Eternity need to win this round. They did really, really well on their defenses, but they're going to really have to try hard, and it looks like they will be, as they're going for their strongest site so far, the dining kitchen site, which they are yet to lose. This is going to be crucial for them. Again, bringing a pretty much similar lineup to the one that they've been bringing so far, except we see Noit on the Oryx. That could be an interesting play. That could be a really interesting play. It's a bit of a risk. Oryx, very loud. Very extremely loud. So that could be a problem, especially we do see CG bringing Jackal. Jackal could make roaming. He does make roaming really difficult, but it could seriously make it hell for the Oryx. Nordis hunting down this drone, and that's a little bit of utility already being wasted from the side of CG. You know, you want to establish a little bit of that information early on in the prep phase. You know, put some of those pre-placed drones so you could watch them from very early on in the game. But you're also risking that utility. I mean, drones are probably the most crucial part of utility that you get to have in Siege on the attacking side. So wasting them very early on is a bit of a mistake from any team and any player. But it is a bit of a risk that you have to take to save time. You know, if you save your drones during prep phase, cool, you've saved a little bit of utility, but you are trading away that time. And here we go, Glorious again inside of library could seriously be the playmaker. So far gone undroned and uncontested, but this could be the first. It is Noit to help them out as well from the top of red stairs. They could and probably will be focusing their attention onto the main stairs rather than onto the library door, where our Glorious is still holding on. There it goes. A kill onto Nordis. That's the first pick. Again, going in the favor of CG, and they're establishing control really, really well. But I'd be wary of a Glorious. Mott getting spotted out by that proxy alarm on main stairs. Does get taken out. There goes a clone. And there goes a kill onto a Glorious. Again, throwing bodies at him, but they do get the trades this time, and they do get those refrags. Quite a significant man advantage now for CG. But Emmy and Greasy could still win this. This time, no smoke for Emmy to try and close out the round the way that they did the past couple of times. So this is going to be a really, really crucial round. Especially with only a minute left on the clock, and CG with such a huge advantage, man advantage already set up. And see that Jackal not only making it hard to roam, but also making it really hard to hide, putting pressure onto them from the vertical positions. Emmy just barely staying alive. That Capcan doing some trap post-mortem, but is he going to be enough? Emmy now playing this jail position as Greasy's still battling these drones on China. And that utility being wasted on the China door. Emmy still holding on to Memo. There goes a clone, giving away their position. And a kill to take out TJ. Emmy does go down, however. It's all down to Greasy now. 10 seconds left. The plant is going down. But it is Azibu with the final kill to win the map for CG. We'll be going on to Theme Park after this, so stay tuned. And what a game this has been from CG and Eternity. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Champs League Round 3. This is map 2 of the night. We've got CG versus Eternity. The previous map was Villa. CG took that in round 15. It was looking a little bit shoddy there from them for a little while, but they brought it back. Now we are on Theme Park. Interestingly enough, as well, is winning that winning that map, sorry, brought them up in the standings of the league. They went up from 7th to 5th, above, or to 6th, I apologize, above Eternity. So this is all to play for here for Eternity. They've got to win this map to equalize, or to take them over again. CG start out with the bans that take out Flores. They did the same in the previous game in the previous map as well. The Flores is extremely vital, an extremely vital part of the attacking lineup, and he makes a lot of positions really difficult to play. I already explained this in the previous map. If you missed it, Basically, he makes playing Azami in any position pretty much impossible. And Azami, we see her played a lot on Theme Park, especially on that Cash Dragon side, on that little 90 corner. We see her played a lot there, so unsurprising that they took out Flores. Dukebi to follow on attack as well. Really good at roam clearing. She gives you away with the logic bombs. She's got a really good hit with those weapons. The Gaunt 6, and especially those impact TMPs. So, out of sight, out of mind. Mira and Bandit to follow on defense. Now, Mira is quite expected. Mira is a really strong operator on any map, but especially theme park, she makes a lot of areas really difficult to attack. The Bandit is a little bit curious. The Bandit, it might be a bit of a target ban, maybe, against Eternity specifically. But it also may be, I guess it makes sense. Because it's a lot harder to Cade trick than it is to Bandit trick. Even when you've got a Thatcher, and especially those impact TMPs are really difficult to try and breach a wall against a Bandit. It's a lot easier against a Cade, so it actually makes a lot of sense. It's just quite a rare ban, at least in sort of the mainstream of Siege. You didn't see it all that often. You see Cade quite a lot, but not really Bandit. And here we go. The first round is starting. Eternity starting out on attack, bringing the Monty and the Amaru, who could be really, really interesting. Now, Monty, although very slow and very loud, is really, really good at taking control of a certain area of the map, because you can't really kill him right off the bat, and especially it's not Monty himself that is the worry for a defender, it is the gun that follows behind. And if you lose your life to that gun, well, you've lost a little bit of map control with it as well. Bringing out that Lion as well. I wonder where going for with this Amaru, and it looks like the Amaru will be going instead of break room. We did see a defender just walk into there as well. They do make their way outside into the arcade side of the map and taken out immediately through those footholes. Traded out. The death of the Amaru. A little bit of more control being established on this side of the map. That office wall being open could be a bit of trouble. The Legion somehow surviving. That's as it's finally found by the pistol. And now, very quickly, we see a 4v3 in favor of the attackers. And again, that Monty still in play could be doing quite a lot of damage to these defenders. Another refrag coming up from TJ onto Emmy. There's the hard breacher gone, as well as the diffuser being cold on the ground. A refrag going out from Nordis to take out TJ, and there goes Mott's falling down as well. Eternity with the first round. That was rather quick work from them to win that round. I don't know if CG expected that Monty. I don't think that there really were any glaring mistakes from CG other than just losing their ones. Maybe putting a little bit too much focus on the opposite end of the map, and not enough on their front side with the Cash and Dragon Balcony, because it was TJ the K that died inside of control. I don't know whether they were even aware of the push coming from that end of the map. So I would count that as their only mistake, other than, of course, losing gunfights, but that's not really something that you've done strategically wrong. It was just something that you've done mechanically wrong. They are going to be bringing a similar lineup, however, this time bringing out the Solus. Now, the Solus is extremely vital, very, very strong operator. I would count her as probably the strongest operator that we've had, sort of like at launch. The strongest operator probably since Melusi. Melusi, when she first came out, was pretty much meta changing. It took a while for Azami to reach the sort of cult level that she's reached now. to where you don't see a defense without her a lot of the time. But Malusi and Solus were both meta changing pretty much instantly. Malusi, of course, was pretty much OP when she dropped by not being able to get rid of her utility without explosive and Mott's, the Solus that I just spoke about, in the biggest position of their life inside of Gong, does take out Noi with a little smiley face in chat. That is a crying smiley face. Definitely was not expecting play like that and an early advantage being gained here from CG. And of course, Solus being able to take out any sort of drone information that you could be gaining on attack. Really good at spotting out attackers who might be on cams or who might be using their utility, for example, IQ, or even holding any type of utility in your hand. She's really, really good at countering that. And a little bit of chip damage being done onto Azzy, but I do believe that was from the impact grenade from early on in the prep phase, so never mind. No engagements to be found as of yet since the very early pick from Mott's. Mott's chancing a little bit of a pick, maybe through this control hatch for a little bit high on confidence after getting that kill, and the wall will be getting opened up inside of Torms. It'll be TJ and Jenna trying to hold on to this, being challenged by the Monty. The Monty now inside, being backed up into a corner, and the C4 will wait. Pulling out the shotgun now, Glorious on very low HP, and the finally to take them down. 3v5 now for these attackers. They do a lot of damage actually as he come out through the soft wall. But there's still so much work for them to do, and not enough time to really do it. And 30 seconds left on the clock. Throwing out those flashes, flashing out TJ, but Jenna still inside of initiation does take out Emmy. That's now diffuser cold on the ground, all down to Greasy. Jenna does get downed. Greasy trying to maybe get a vault prompt onto that little walkway on yellow stairs, but can't. Has to make their way inside of dorms. Now gives themselves away, and it will be TJ with the final kill to win the round for CG. CG really turned that around. They spotted out what they were doing wrong in the first round, especially with that Monty, and losing those gunfights. That was a huge problem that I said was pretty much what lost them the round the first time around. And they changed it. They won their once this time. They had the support from their teammate, especially we saw Jenna and TJ playing off of each other inside of initiation. And I think that was a bit of a misplay there. Of course, losing a life so early on to the Solus was not ideal. But I think also a mistake that Eternity made was that Muzzy pushing into initiation by themselves without really an attack being established from inside of dorms to help. And especially that initiation wall position is really difficult to counter as well. And then, of course, losing their life inside of initiation itself was pretty much the final domino to fall for Eternity. So I hope that they are going to be a little bit more careful, especially now that they are not bringing the Mozzie anymore. Mott's wasting a little bit of time trying to hunt down the drone from the buck on top of that spaceship inside of Arcade. Could be a crucial position to spot out any potential roamers, and will be waiting. That drone just sitting there, chilling, waiting, and that could be a crucial bit of information being gained from that side of Eternity. The attack already starting. They're droning themselves in, droning out any utility. I am really surprised that I haven't seen CG play this Azami position on 90 yet. They do have the Azami finally, but not the setup in place yet, anyway, for that 90 position to be held. And I don't think that Azubu will be holding that position anyway. They're doing a more of a roaming style with Azami, which of course is fine, and Azami's perfectly oh my god, what's the word? Oh, I can't remember the word, but she is really good to play in more ways than once. She's really good at being played in more ways than one. I don't know how to say that, but bit of an early engagement here from Pep, and there goes Gloria is getting downed by Azibu. Gracie takes out Matsu. That's the Solus gone very, very early on. That might have been that drone on top of the spaceship that helped out a little bit. Even footing here from both of these teams, and I think it's Azibu that has a crucial position on top of those yellow stairs, especially now as the attackers are clearing out more of this top floor, forcing Pep to move further and further away, especially with those jackal scans. And he could have a huge play here. They know that somebody has to be inside of lockers, but they push in a little bit too soon before that flash goes out, and it's Azibu to win that gunfight. They get traded out immediately. Jenna on low HP from an earlier engagement, and now with 30 seconds left on the clock, this is going to have to be a strong push on this yellow wall. It's Pep with the crucial position inside of lab to go for a late flank. They will be getting hunted down by the Jackal. TJ takes out Noit, immediately traded out. It's Nordis with 3k and a huge kill onto Jenna. Now it's all down to TJ all the way down behind the throne. They do make their way inside of Armory to go for a plant. Notice now, plant going down. TJ, no idea where they are, and it's Greasy to win the gunfight. The first round on the board, or the second round on the board for Eternity. That was much better from Eternity. They played together a lot better. I think losing Emmy on that 90 outside of Gong could have gone a lot worse for them. And I think that the huge playmaker here undoubtedly has to be the Jackal, of course, taking out quite a few of those roamers, and of course taking out the Solus so very early on. The Solus, as strong as she is for the early round, you cannot lose her so early on, where when so much of that utility is still left on the board. She is very much a mid to late round type of defender, so you really have to be careful whenever you play her. And this time is ahead of the curve to take out that drone very early on, and I do believe that that was possibly the little bit of utility that Eternity needed to take out Mots on those arcade stairs the last time. Here we go, and it will be Mots with the run out to take out a drone. I mean, you know, it was a pretty risk-free run out from that window. You know, you can't really die to it, and you know, low risk, high reward for that run out to take out that drone. The attack will be a split push from both the cafe side and the cache side. Of course, they had to do a top floor clear first before they can head downstairs to where the site is, because there is a roaming presence established by both Mots and Pep upstairs, so they're going to have to first clear them out before they could push downstairs. And of course, there's a little bit of verticality to establish onto that bomb site anyway. And here we go, first early engagement here between Noit and Mots, but it's actually Azabu to flank and get the kill. Traded out immediately, and more gunfights here happening between Greasy and Mots. That Vinka luckily does does heal Greasy a little bit, but it's Mott's to take out another 2. And with only a minute so far gone, we see Greasy and Emmy in a 1v2, in a 1v4 as Mott's takes out Greasy as well. Emmy, the hard breach, all by themselves. Some drones being still left alive for the attackers to keep an eye out for, maybe some flanks, maybe some bit of information to gain for Emmy, but I think that the defenders are just going to be playing safe for sight. And that little bit of utility that is being known will soon be gone as it's Mott's on the roam. Those C4s will be coming out to try and take out Emmy from below, making their presence known inside of control as well. And those Valkyrie cameras are going to be putting out constant pings on them. Their presence now known on top of Dragon, and TJ will be chancing the first little bit of a run out from this door. I don't know that that's really a smart decision, considering that you have a way worse angle from the door than you do from top of Dragon. And I think that Eternity might be taking this time to talk over their attacks a little bit, not really to allow Emmy to clutch up, given how nearly impossible of a task that is, but probably just talking about how to smooth out those kinks that they have in their attack. And those kinks are, as CG wins the round, but to put this down to 2 rounds apiece for both of these teams. The kinks that Eternity have to work out is gaining an advantage, but not knowing how to hold on to it. And then also not being aware enough of their surroundings. I think Greasy being all by himself inside of Top Arcade when he was trying to battle Mott's the Soulless inside of dorms was really bad. It was really bad from them. They shouldn't have been alone. They should have had more backing, and I think that they should have been more aware of a potential flank up those arcade stairs. They did eventually get those trades, but not before the damage had already been dealt. So I think just being a little bit more aware of CG and their playstyle will go a long way for Eternity, especially if CG aren't expecting it. And I think that so far awareness has been Eternity biggest flaw. I mentioned it already before when Glorious was first playing the Monty, just sort of pushing in into initiation without there really being an attack established, and that being a really difficult angle to try and counter from the attackers. It just seemed like a bit of a misplay, and then of course Noit dying to Mott inside of Gong was also a bit of a misplay. So I think just being a little bit more aware of their surroundings and of the positions that CG are playing will go a long way for Eternity, and it probably will win them rounds as well. And we see a little bit more of that being established now as they are droning out quite a lot. We see 3 drones in play right off the bat to try and spot out these attackers. Noit just booking it straight inside of break room, but it's as ready for that gunfight that takes them out. And that's Noit off the board very quickly on a 4v5. And I think that's another example of Eternity not being aware. And also, I think that was a bit of a misplay anyway from Noit to go into that break room window without counter angle being established. I mean, when you're Amaru going in, expect there to be a 50% chance for you to lose the gunfight and die, so you want to have a teammate nearby to be able to get your trade, which they did not have. And there finally goes the refrag onto Azibu, but it took a while, and a Glorious does get downed in the process of trying to get that refrag. So with 90 seconds already gone, and that Legion even post-mortem doing a little bit of a disservice to Eternity, with those goo mines being a sound cue for CG about where they're coming from.
Need to reload.
And Jenna in a crucial position here on the vault wall. Emmy taking a lot of damage as they try to open this wall, and they do get the wall open. The other wall will be getting opened up too, but it's Moss to take out Greasy at a very far angle here for Emmy to try and do something. Here we go, Glorious making their way inside of Initiation, trying to flush out Malusi from the position that they're playing. But again, as I say, that is a really hard position for the attackers to try and counter, and through the blinding white, they get a kill, and there goes another round for CG. And again, awareness is where Eternity are faltering, because that flank was another thing that shouldn't have been allowed. Of course, it's pretty much impossible to be aware of everything and to try and counter everything when you're in a 2v4, but it still stands that their awareness and the way that they play is falling short, all the way from the first pick going the way of CG. Noit pretty much gifting them that kill with the Amaru into break room, and absolutely no opportunity to get the trade. I think maybe they saw on a drone that Azibu was distracted or was far enough away to where that was a plausible attack, but it's still such a high risk for not enough being done, because even if you do get that kill, it's still very likely that there's going to be somebody there. So it's still a very, very high risk, especially if you're as unaware as Eternity seemed to be. It was quite an odd choice for them to just try and go for it. Maybe they thought that they could catch them off guard or something. I don't know. But it's a new round now, and a new opportunity for Eternity to take this back and to have a bit more of a stronger footing. But of course, even going 4-2 on attack on theme park is not that bad of a deal. I think most teams would settle for that anyway, but still, Eternity want to have even one more round to attack with, or to defend with. Because you should never really be treating the rounds that you are up by, or the rounds that you have as an advantage, as the amount of rounds that you can throw or screw around with. And there goes Moss, chancing a run out, does not go their way, and it's a Glorious to take the first pick. That is the Soul is gone as well. That is a huge pick, and Azibu could be getting a kill here onto a Glorious, but it's actually a Glorious from a huge, very, very long angle, all the way down to yellow stairs to take out TJ. They do lose Noit in the process, but they get another frag, and there we go. This is the kind of control that Eternity want to have this early on in the round. A 4v2, quite a lot of utility still left, a lot of drones still left, a lot of information still to be gained. Nordis does gain a little bit of information onto Jenna's whereabouts, and they do get the pick. It's all down to Azibu, full HP inside of sight. And it is Eternity to take that kill and to take this round home. It's an even split on the first half as we see the switch and we go on to the second half. Eternity now on defense with a really, really strong footing, having 3 rounds up already to begin with. CG are going to have to try a lot harder on their attack to establish control and to take the lead again. But as I was saying, when you are up by any amount of rounds, even if you're up by 6 on the half, that is not the amount of rounds that you have to screw around with and to throw, essentially, because that is giving the advantage to your opponents. It is also giving them momentum, and momentum can be huge in Siege, especially considering how how much of a psychological game Siege really is. It's not just physical with, your flicks and your 360s and your crouch spamming. It is very, very psychological as well, especially in a best of two or more, where we're playing multiple games. That longevity is huge. So if you can keep your mental in check for the entire duration of the game, then you are immediately a small but a crucial step ahead of your opponent. So when you're up by an amount of rounds, you want to treat those rounds as the amount of breathing room that you have. So if you do make a mistake or if you do get caught off guard, it's not the end of the world, but it is also a round where you want to fix those mistakes. It's not something that you want to treat as, oh, whatever, we still have however many rounds to go. No, you still have however many rounds to fix that and to win on the next round. But the attack is starting to come from the eastern side of the map on the top floor. They are going to have to do a top floor clear because there are quite a number of defenders upstairs as well as downstairs. A roaming presence is quite huge from Eternity. We saw that on their Villa games as well. And awareness was a huge problem for Eternity here, but we also saw awareness be a problem for CG on the Villa game, especially allowing a Glorious to just sort of roam and be uncontested for quite a while. This time, that is not the case because they take out Greasy very early on, and they have these active pings on more of these defenders as well, making it a lot harder to stay on the roam. Control being established early, but there we go. Noit and a huge get one, maybe two. They get two. That's a double kill here for Noit. And as I was saying, awareness seems to be a huge problem for both of these teams. Pep finally does get another frag onto Noit, finally getting that trade. 2v3, not a bad position for CG to be in, even on Theme Park and even on the Armory bomb site. But this could be a huge playmaker here from the Alibi inside of Bathroom if they are not, if they do not drum them out and find them. They have the two most useful operators, I think, in this position right now, because they do have the Thermite to potentially breach that wall. Finally now aware of a Glorious. Too little too late, as it's all down to Pep now. The Diffuser now in control of the defenders. Finally takes them out is Pep. But 20 seconds left on the clock and having to fight a mute and the DMR is going to be pretty difficult. Nade goes out. The second nade might pick up Emmy. At least it pushes them away from the position that they were playing. Finds one. Pep now has to go for the plan and is doing just that. Nordis outside of Dragon Door will find the round. Won't find the kill because Pep does get off, but that's another round on the board for Eternity. Awareness. Both of these teams are suffering from the lack of awareness of where their opponents are and how they have been positioned. They did get Greasy very early on, but then they failed to spot out Noit in an arguably more crucial position inside of Initiation to get a 2K. That should never been allowed. A Glorious' roam instead of Bathroom never should have been allowed. Their mishaps on the previous map on Villa never should have been allowed, and I think that we're finally starting to see why these teams are so far down in the standings, because their awareness is very, very lacking. And, even though Eternity won that round, they are still guilty of that same lack of awareness, and they do take the lead now in this half, but there's still a long way to go for both of these teams to try and win this map. They're really going to have to work on their drone game, their information game, maybe a little bit of miscommunication as well.
Setting the welcome mat.
5 seconds left before
They're just going to have to be a bit better. Norda's doing God's work on the side of Eternity. So far, 11 and 3. Emmy yet to find a kill so far this round. They fought quite a few on Villa. And you know, Siege isn't all about kills, but in a game of basically who can, you know, flank who unexpectedly, it might become a game of kills. The attack is starting to form from the eastern side, from the top floor, to try and attack onto dorms and kids. And there we go, a first kill first onto Pep, and then a run out is attempted from Noit, but fails yet again. Tried the same, or a similar run out rather, in the previous round. It didn't work. There we go. TJ taken down by Jenna. There we go, another kill from, or the opposite way around. Wait, what? Ignore all of what I just said because all of it was wrong. But Mots and Azibu are now left in a 2v4 against these defenders. Make that a 1v4 as Greasy gets a 3k in this round. Mots, no diffuser, and a timeout being requested by CG. Clearly, something is wrong. Another run out. This time does not net a kill. I think Emmy getting a little bit antsy with no kills so far. And there we go. Eternity setting up another lead so far in this matchup. It's 5-3 in the favor of Eternity. If they put themselves just a step away from match point, CG taking out a timeout to fix the issues that are going on. I don't know if that was their coach or maybe the players themselves recognizing that something is definitely going wrong for them, and they have to you have to fix whatever it is that's going wrong. And I keep saying it, I've said it already so many times, that both of these teams just lack a little bit of awareness, actually a lot of awareness, and they lack a little bit of that structure, you know, playing together, playing for those trades. Even if you do lose a body, get a trade quickly. We saw it a few rounds ago from Noit, actually, when they just Amaru straight into break room and got taken out, and it took them an entire minute to get the free frag. Those types of things shouldn't be happening. If you are going to go for a push like that, for a very, you know, confident attack, you have to have somebody there for trades, because in every single gunfight, there's a 50-50 chance that you will lose it. So you have to have somebody there to get the trade should you lose it. Losing a gunfight is not the worst thing in the world, especially if you're the entry frag. That is your job. That is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go in and engage. And if you lose the gunfight and take a little bit of that utility down, it's not the end of the world if your teammates can get the trade, especially if it's an important trade like taking out a Solus early on. But so far, both of these teams unable to take it back when they lose a body early on. And of course, that awareness that I keep mentioning, I'm already annoying myself with how much I talk about it, but it is a serious issue for both of these teams, and they have to work on it. And I hope that CG have recognized that, and that they've mentioned it in their timeout, and that they are going to be playing a little bit more aware. But they are going to be bringing an Amaru. Now, I don't know whether that Amaru will be for the sake... okay, they're switching off the Amaru to the Nook, bringing another set of nades, and bringing an operator that can evade those Valkyrie cameras that we see being brought from Noit. Bringing as well the sledge for that verticality. And of course, this site of lab and drugs is a very, very vertical site. Most of the ceiling for both of those rooms is destructible. So that puts the defenders on a little bit of a back foot if they don't have that vertical control, which Nordis is currently holding onto. And that's where the sledge and a buck come into play. Drones early on being taken out. And that's all. Actually, so it's a minute gone, and they've got, what, 3 drones left? Altogether? Make that, yeah, that's 3 drones. That's 3 drones still left alive from the side of CG, and only a minute has gone. And I don't think that they've gained any sort of information from the drones that have gone, or at least they didn't capitalize off of the information that they might have gained. So this is really, again, that awareness is really starting to show, because if this is how they are utilizing their drones, then no wonder that they are losing rounds. Pep in an early game here against Nordis, unfortunately, does get taken out. It doesn't net anything from that early engagement. Finally, a kill from Noi to take out TJ, and going for a run out as well for Ruote. Might get taken out here by Pep, because Pep has to be aware that they are there, and they are, and there's unfortunately no way out for Noit currently in this position. I think a smart way to play it for Pep there would be either to throw a grenade to open that door and get aggressive, or just wait them out. And I think it will be greasy to go for a C4 here, and I think that will get Jenna. There goes their ace, and there goes Pep with the huge play to take out Nordis as well. And there goes the grenade to finally take out Noit. Didn't even have to be aggressive, because the grenade was cooked perfectly, and it took them out right away. 3v3, 25 seconds left on the clock. Emmy in a huge run position here alongside a Glorious. Glorious with an engagement versus Pep. Pep, I think, maybe has a little bit of information to maybe not throw that grenade, because it won't achieve anything. It's Mots that drops down the yellow stairs as Azibu to follow suit. Makes their way inside a bathroom as Mots to try and go for that plant. A trade goes out, and they get off the plant. Why did they get off the plant? Well, that was curious. That was... Oh, did it? Oh, okay, all right. I got off the plant. Well, there we go. Eternity take. I don't know if you guys were able to hear that on the stream, but the planter died to the shotgun. I had missed that. I thought they just got off the plant because maybe they didn't have the cover. So I do apologize there. But another round for Eternity, and they put themselves on match point now against CG. CG again suffering for their inability to clear out the roamers quickly. They wasted a lot of time. Pep was in a really, really good position there. They had Noit locked down. They took out Nordis, but that was already after 2 minutes had gone down. And then also a lot of trades coming out from the side of Eternity as well to bring the numbers back to even, and then just unable to hold on to the advantages that they had gained when they did. Awareness still being a problem with, especially those drones. I mean, I mentioned it very early on that a minute had gone and that they had 3 drones left to help them. They have to change their approach, and they have to win this round
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb
if they want to stay alive. I don't know what they talked about in their timeout that they took the round previous, or before the previous round, but they are going to have to change something about their approach. The attack coming from both ends of the map. A bit of a split push, 2 and 3 on both ends of the map to try and maybe corner some of these defenders that are upstairs. Of course, they have to gain that top floor control again. Glory is just waiting for a drone here. Somebody tried to go for a run out. Gets back in very quickly. losing more of those drones, not really netting anything. Go Pep, I think completely misdroned. A Glorious inside a bathroom just narrowly avoids losing their life there. The rest of the attackers have made their way upstairs, but there's still so much to worry about, especially on that opposite end of the map. Inside of Initiation, that could be a problem for them if they do not clear out Greasy, or if they do not drone them out, which so far I don't think that they have done. Noit using the bulletproof camera really, really cleverly, using, of course, that EMP burst to stop a drone and then to shoot it out. So Eternity, very, very good at taking out that utility. And the first pick, again, from a Glorious inside of Lab to take out TJ. That's 2 nades gone. I don't think he's used any up until that point. And a very late pick, but a very crucial one. Path to taking so much more damage, unable to clear out a Glorious. It is Azimu with a pick onto Emmy. That is a huge pick now to bring the numbers back to even, but Greasy still on top floor. Do they even know? They do now, but they completely miss it. It's Azibu to fall down next. Pep is hunting them down over these arcade stairs. Finally gets the kill, but another one gets taken down, and that's Mott's down as well. Pep drops the hatch, takes the head off the Jaeger, but it's all the way from Pizza Corner, Nordis to take the final kill and to win the round for Eternity. In this matchup between Eternity and CG, it is 1-1. CG won the first map, Eternity won the second. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.